Hi everyone, so I am Malat Abbas, or Mal for short, and I'm a director, co-founder, and generally a creative producer based at an organization called Biome Collective. I'm going to just put my timer on so I don't waffle on for too long. There we go. Yeah, so I'm from sunny Dundee. Dundee is a very small city in Scotland. Our neighbours, Edinburgh, the capital, and Glasgow, are much bigger. We have a population of about 150,000, but we are known as the sunniest city in Scotland. It's a true fact. True fact. So the cool thing about Dundee is that creativity and design is at the very core of the city. So culture and design is very, very important. And part of that narrative is winning the UNESCO City of Design title a few years back, which means we're part of an international community that focuses on design and culture. So you might have heard of Dundee. You've probably seen this thing. This opened up last month. So this is the V&A Dundee. This was the first V&A outside of London, and it's a museum dedicated to design. And you can see the amazing architecture designed by Kengo Kuma of Japan. So this is it's called the living room for the city, and it's an amazing cultural space that invites the city to come, chill out, hang out, and also partake in art and design. And they have a very interesting community engagement program where they try and really kind of reach out to the rest of the city. So this is the backdrop, and I'll come back to this building in a bit, so because we help open this actually, which is quite cool. So yeah, I'm part of Biome Collective, and Biome Collective is an organization that I founded about 3 years ago. And it's quite an organic organization in the sense that we didn't actually have a name for the first year. We only incorporated about a year and a half ago. So it was developed very, very slowly. Started by 2 people, and now we're about 17, 18 people. So in that relatively short spell of time, we've created quite a healthy body of work, and this is just some of our projects. And some of this work tends to be games, web games for national organizations like the National Museum in Edinburgh, but also art installations, interactive work, lots of workshops, and importantly, lots of R&D using technology. So we've got a good track record of working with lots of arts and cultural organizations, and just alluding to the last talk, you know, it's really important that the arts and crafts and technology merge together, and we've developed this organization to be able to do that, essentially. And we've also managed to do work that has been publicly exhibited around the world, which is quite good for us. So yeah, for us, we actually come from a games design background, and when it comes to games and technology, you tend to be in a silo. It's quite a natural reaction to dealing with brand new technology, kind of, you know, focus on the silo mentality. But we particularly created Biome to be kind of an ecosystem where we're trying to kind of fight that silo mentality and really work with different sectors outside our bubble. So yeah, this is the kind of tagline: art, games, art, culture, and space. So we're a co-working space, and we're a very fluid organization. We're all freelancers, essentially. You know, last year we had 19 members. This year it's 17, and the membership actually is different. It's different people. So yeah, I make video games. That's kind of what I tell people. That's what I do. And most people tend to think, oh, have you worked on FIFA or Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto? And these, you know, Grand Theft Auto is actually made in Edinburgh, so not too far from the truth. But my reality is slightly different. A lot of my work is a lot more experimental. And I'm going to just briefly run through 4 of my projects to show you what I mean when I say I make games, and then also kind of end with some of the learning we've had as a creative organization working with technology. So this is one of our first projects, a game called Killbox. And this is a game you can download on Steam or the Mac Store. And it's actually an art installation that explores drone warfare. So in the experience, you play as a pilot of a drone for about 5 minutes. And you kind of see the just kind of a set in North Pakistan. And what we then do is we then flip it over, and then the next 5 minutes, you're actually on the ground. And this was created as an online game, but more interestingly, as a physical installation designed for museums and galleries. So I'll just quickly run you through some of the process of us exhibiting this game as a prototype. So it's iterative development is part of our process. This was us exhibiting, I think, in London as part of the V&A's design week or month. This was kind of in Edinburgh at a particular games festival. This was in Berlin. The design was kind of, being changed from version to version. Then we ultimately designed, or you can't see it, we designed our own desk. Thankfully, okay, that's weird. There we go, there's a desk. So we designed the desk because it's a two-player experience. You see eye to eye, which is quite amazing. And then this was Val McDermott playing the game, BBC Art Hour. It was quite cool. And then this was the kind of installation in a digital art context. So this was a kind of monolith box experience built for the game. You walk in to quite a dark kind of space, and also encourage crowds and participation, because actually more people watch games than people play games, which is really interesting as makers. There we go. But also there was a performance element. When you walked out of the box, the kill box, you would get asked by a performer, how many people did you kill? And the performer would then dab the box. So it was actually became quite an emotional experience for people and led to really meaningful conversations. Next, I actually added this just yesterday because we had a nice tour of the city, and there's lots of amazing buildings and architecture and amazing light. So we do a lot of interactive light installations. So this was a commission from 2 years ago as part of Light Night Dundee. Now what's interesting about this is the fact that this is the big kind of steeple church in the city, but the important thing for us is we built this giant controller which enabled the people in the city to control the large-scale projection, so it made it really interactive. So you had young people, old people coming up and pressing buttons, and I don't think the video is going to work, but I've got this kind of animated GIF. It does not ring very well, but you get a sense of the kind of abstract visuals we used, and it was we had amazing speakers, and it was very, very loud, so that kind of attracted lots of attention. Just going to keep an eye on my time. Yeah, okay, cool. That's the video that doesn't work, unfortunately. This project was our V&A project. So the V&A opened the 14th of September, if I remember correctly, so not too long ago. And we helped design a visual language primarily because, we're graphic designers and artists. But also we help bring the building to life. So when it opened, it was actually primarily a music concert. So amazing acts from across the world. And we used, this is not projection mapping, these are actually just lights, dynamic lights. And again, I can't show the video, unfortunately, but essentially we made the building have a conversation with the participants of the evening, and then that led to a song by the building. So it was a kind of a light show and a visual feast. And it kind of said, hello world, so that was quite cool. This next project is really important to us. This was a commission, again, by the city for us to represent Dundee at the London Design Biennale. Now, the London Design Biennale is actually really aimed at countries, but Dundee was the first city that asked to participate, and then also Liverpool and Leeds joined us as well. So it was really cool to be next to Puerto Rico and Saudi Arabia and amazing countries. And we created Spiel, and this was an interactive installation that explored mental health. So you can see the power of games and what you can do with them. And essentially, this installation was a giant controller again. And you walked into a room of Somerset House in London, and we used a brand new technique of projecting onto a domed mirror and creating a fully immersive 360 experience, never been done before. And that's the cool thing about game makers, is we come up with new inventive ways to save money, because it was going to cost too much to put too many projectors in that space. Again, this is an animated GIF of the piece. And what's important about this piece is there's 8 buttons. They all represented different emotions. There was anger, joy, a whole range. And they were all abstracted visually and sonically. And what this does, it allows people to express themselves in a very collaborative way. And just important to note is this project was designed by Biome Collective, but it was also the city coming together with various arts organizations, youth organizations, trying to answer the questions, how do we tackle mental health? And this piece just essentially is a prototype to start that conversation. Now, what's important to us as game makers is the fact that we're combining creativity and technology through our hub. And that is really, really important. And we genuinely believe that technology is wonderful, but it's really important to be able to think about your social impact and cultural impact, as well as your economic impact. This is our shared space. So these are kind of my top tips for co-working spaces. So what's important for us is that we share this space with other businesses. It's not just Biome Collective. There are other businesses in our space, which means that we can talk to videographers, digital festivals, creative blogs, people outside our sphere, which is really, really important, which means that our ideas are fresh, we're engaging with really interesting audiences. Tip number 2, if this is going to work. No? Next slide, please. Okay, I'll keep talking. Really cool space. You can see it's a kind of a nice mixture of it's open plan, but we over the time, we put bits and bobs in between to kind of fill it out. And this is in the heart of Dundee. Next is research and development. It's really important for us to carry out this work, but part of research and development is documentation. We really kind of factor in the documentation part of things, and we've just seen earlier how data gathering is really, really important. For example, Spiel earlier, that project, that on one hand we had 1 million buttons pressed at the London Design Biennale, but this was also factored in with asking people how they felt, and we had various feedback such as I feel safe, I feel empowered. It's combining the kind of data sets together. We do lots of workshops. So this was us collaborating with Scottish Dance Theatre 2 years ago. And so we use games and particularly paper prototyping. We get rid of technology and we go back to paper and craft. And we essentially use that as a way to kind of communicate with various other sectors. And I've only got 2 more slides. We do lots of jams. So we are a community. We do lots of jams or hacks, as they're sometimes called. And we do sharing. It's really important to share your work with various people. And also having a greater community. We put on festivals as well. So this is Arcadia from last year, our first festival. And this managed to attract guests from international guests by just putting a tweet out, essentially. We put a tweet out saying, hey, we're doing Arcadia, independent games, come hang out in Scotland. And we had people come from New York, all parts of Europe, just on the strength of that. So I hope that's given you a taste of what we've been able to achieve in a very short spell of time. And I'm here to learn from you guys too. So if anyone wants to come and talk about collaboration opportunities, come say hello. Thank you.